Hello children, today we are going to start class 8th English, the poem The Ant and the Cricket. Now, before just we are going to starting with the poem, we are going to read this. A fable is a story often with animals as character that conveys a moral. This poem about an ant and the cricket contains an idea of far-reaching significance, which is true of a four-legged cricket as of a two-legged one. Surely you have seen a cricket that has two legs. Now, we are going to discuss about the poem The Ant and the Cricket, adapted from Aesop's fables. Ant and the Cricket is the fable in a poetic form. Now, what is a fable? We have already read what is a fable. A fable is a story often with animals as characters that conveys a moral. Here, in this poem, we have two main characters. First one is the ant, who is hardworking and can face any kind of circumstances, whereas the second one is cricket, who is lazy and loves merry making. This is the cricket. Now, here the cricket is an insect and not a game. Our parents work hard to save money. Why? The answer is to ensure a secure future, and they teach us the same. But still, there are many people who don't believe in securing their future, but they love merry making. This poem contains an idea of far-seeking significance, which is true of a four-legged cricket as of a two-legged one. You all have seen a cricket that has two legs. Yes, we are talking about human beings. We will be discussing about the poem. We will begin with the poem, the first stanza. Okay? A silly young cricket, accustomed to sing through the warm, sunny months of gay summer and spring, began to complain when he found that at home his cupboard was empty and winter was come. The stanza means there was a cricket. He used to sing and dance all through the pleasant months of summer and spring. When the winters arrived, he began to complain, as his cupboard was empty and he had not planned anything for his future. Next stanza. Not a crumb to be found on the snow-covered ground. Not a flower could be seen, not a leaf on a tree. Oh, what will become, says the cricket, for me? He found that there was no food. Here in this line it is being said that he did not find any food, not a single piece, as it was winter and due to snow he could not see flowers or leaves. Then he thought, what will happen now? Oh, what will he become of him now? Oh, what will become, says the cricket, of me? Now the cricket is actually worried what is going to happen. Next stanza. At last, by starvation and famine, made bold, all dripping with wet and all trembling with cold, away he set off to a miserly ant to see if to keep him alive he would grant him shelter from rain and a mouthful of grain. He wished only to borrow, he would repay it tomorrow. If not, he must die of starvation and sorrow. Here in the stanza, at last, due to hunger and scarcity of food, he was shivering with cold, so he decided to go to the miserly ants to see if the ants could help him by providing him shelter from rain and a mouthful of grain. He also promised that he would return it tomorrow when the weather is okay and fine. He is going to return it, but if the ants don't help him, he would die. Now, turning the page, next stanza says the ant to the cricket, I am your servant and friend, but we ants never borrow, we ants never lend. Here in the stanza, after listening to the cricket, the ant said, I am your servant and your friend. They said, we are your servants also and we are your friends also. But here the ants gave an important lesson by saying, we ants never borrow or lend. Okay, that is, we don't take or give to anybody. Next stanza. But tell me, dear cricket, did you lay nothing by when the weather was warm? Quoth the cricket, not I. Here in the stanza, the ants asked, do you did not save anything for your future? That is for the winters. The cricket answered, saying, not I. Not I here means no, I did not. And here, quoth means said. Next stanza. My heart was so light that I sang day and night. For all your nature looked gay. You sang, sir, you say. Go then, says the ant, and dance the winter away. Here in the stanza, the cricket said, the nature was so happy, the nature looked so happy that I enjoyed day and night. So to this, the ant said, that means you were indulged in singing and dancing. Then go and try dancing again during your rough time. The last line you can see, go then, says the ant, and dance the winter away. That means now go and enjoy during your rough time. Next stanza, that is the last stanza, thus ending, he hastily lifted the wicket. Here the wicket refers to the door. And out of the doors turned the poor little cricket. At the end, ants turn out the cricket out of the door, and thus he hastily lifted the wicket. The wicket, okay? Now, wicket, cricket. Here the ants stand out the cricket out of the door. Fox call this fable, I will warrant it true. Some crickets have 4 legs and some have 2. Here the poet means that fable is true for human beings as well. Though 2-legged some of us believe, like that 4-legged cricket. The poet refers to the people who spend all their earnings and lay nothing by. Moral of the poem: careful planning is essential as it ensures a secure future. Now we are going to just discuss some of the figure of speech. Now it's time for figure of speech. Before I begin with figure of speech, I would like to know What are figure of speech? A figure of speech is a duration from ordinary use of words in order to increase their effect. How will you increase the effect? By adding this figurative language, by adding these figures of speech. When you add these figures of speech, automatically your poem becomes interesting. There are many figures of speech. Here, figures of speech is basically a figurative language that consists of single word or phrase. There are many figures of speech. Can it be simile, and it can be metaphor, personification, alliteration and paradox, understatement and many more. But we are going to discuss only three figures of speech. The first one is personification, second is alliteration, and third is metaphor. Before I begin with the figure of speech, I would like to tell you that I'll be discussing the figure of speech present in the poem, few of them, and I'll be giving you examples also along with it. Other examples rather than present in the poem. The first one is personification. What is personification? If you could see the word personification in the word itself, there is person present. That means we are talking about humans. Personification is a figure of speech in which a thing, an idea or an animal is given human attribute. The non-human objects are portrayed in such a way that we feel that they have the ability to act like human beings. In the poem, also the ants and the cricket, you have seen that ant and the cricket have been personified as human beings with human quality, isn't it? The ant is the hard-working human, whereas the cricket is the lazy human being. To begin with a few examples, the first one is, if I say the sentence like the paper was dancing through the air. The paper was dancing through the air. Paper doesn't dance. Now, if I say the stones were skipping along the pavement, again, stones were skipping along the pavement. Stones cannot skip. Paper cannot dance, so the paper was dancing and stones were skipping in its personification. Here, why? Because they are given the human traits. As I said, giving human traits or characteristics to something that isn't human, such as animals, objects, or non living things, is personification. Things that are personified are described as though they have senses. Moving actions and feelings like humans and animals is personification. Now we move to the poem. We will come back to the poem and I will show you in the first sentence itself. You can see a silly cricket accustomed to sing. Here, the cricket is acting as a human being. This line is personification. Again, if I come to the third line, began to complain when he found that at home his cupboard was empty and winter was come. Begin to complain again, here is the cricket who is acting like a lazy human being. His cupboard was empty. Again, this is the cricket here who is acting as the lazy human being. These lines are personification. This is personification. Now, rest you are going to find out. Next, we move on to alliteration. What is alliteration? Alliteration, the use of same letter or sound at the beginning of words that are close together. Again, I repeat. Alliteration, the use of same letter or sound at the beginning of words that are close together. I am talking about the sentence. If I give you the example, when the weather was warm, you can hear the repetition of the same sound when weather warm again. This is alliteration. Another sentence like, 6 silly swans went swimming in the sea. Alliteration is the repeating of beginning consonant sounds, such as 6 silly swans went swimming in the sea. 6 as, silly as, swans as, swimming as, sea as. It's important to note that not every word in the sentence has to begin with the same letter in order for it to be considered as alliteration. This sentence was alliteration. Again, if I move on to the poem, in the second line itself, come to the second line, okay? Though the warm sunny months of summer and spring, though the warm months or sunny months of gay summer and spring. Now, this is alliteration, sunny summer spring. Then this line, this is alliteration. There are other alliteration present, you are going to find it out. Next we move on to metaphor. When I talk about metaphor, I would also like to discuss simile with you. Why I said so? Because when we talk about metaphor and simile, both sound similar. Because in both cases, comparison is being made. But there is difference between metaphor and simile. When I talk about simile, simile you compare two unlike things using as or like, whereas in metaphor you make a direct comparison. If I say the sentence like, Mike is like a teddy bear, Mike is like a teddy bear, I am comparing Mike to teddy bear. Whereas if I say Mike is a teddy bear and again comparing Mike to teddy bear, but in the first case when I said Mike is like a teddy bear, it is a simile because I am comparing Mike to teddy bear using like. Whereas when I said Mike is a teddy bear, again when I said that Mike is a teddy bear, I am comparing Mike to teddy bear without using as or like. That means it is a direct comparison. If I say that the boy is like a cat, the boy is like a cat, again, and that boy is a cat. In both the sentences, there is a difference. In first case, I have compared the same boy to the cat using like, whereas in the second sentence, I said that the boy is a cat. Both the cases I am comparing, but in the first case, I had used like, and and that means that is a simile, whereas in the second case I just said that a boy is a cat, and this shows that it is a metaphor, that is the direct comparison. If I come back to the poem, in the last line itself, some crickets have 4 legs and some have 2. Some crickets have 4 legs and some have 2. Here the cricket is being compared to the human being. Some it is acting as metaphor. Now it's time to tell you that you will be doing your working with text in your notebook. So the answers for this I'll be giving you. Okay children, the questions you are going to copy down from your textbook. Before doing the working with text, what you have to do is you have to do the glossary. Now, working with the poem. The cricket says, "Oh, what will become of me when he says it and why?" The answer, the cricket speaks these words when in his home he finds no food to eat in winter. Second one, it is having the two parts. First one, find in the poem the line that means the same, neither a borrower nor a lender be. Shakespeare. The answer to first is, the line is, but we ants never borrow, we ants never lend. Second one, what is your opinion of the ants principle? The answer is, the ants principle is not bad. It teaches a lesson to everybody to plan for the rainy days. Question number 3. The ants tell the cricket to dance winter away. Do you think the word dance is appropriate here? If so, why? Write the answer. The word dance here means merry-making and wasting time. It is appropriate here. The irresponsible cricket does not deserve any sympathy. Again, question number 4. It has two parts. First one, which lines in the poem express the poet's comment? Read them aloud. Answer. The poet's comment is expressed in the last two lines. Fox called this a fable. I will warrant it true. Second one, write the comment in your own words. The answer is, people says that this story of the cricket and the ant is imaginary or a fable with a moral, but I think that the story is true and educative. Some people live only in the present. They spend what they earn and make merry, but they regret this habit later on. So children, you are going to complete the glossary first, and then you are going to write the working with the poem in your notebooks. You have to complete your work and you have to learn also. So complete your work and learn it. Thank you children.